Welcome back to the main stage and the MotorFest Walk of Fame. It's the place to be if you really want to become a MotorFest legend. Each month is a chance for your name to be marked onto the stars. Here's the MotorFest legend of last month. This month, a new legend rises to the challenge.
How's it going, everybody? Alright, so I figured since I'm the type of guy to where I can't sit down and play a game from beginning to end, I would throw in games on different days. Just like what I said, Mondays and Fridays are going to be Assassin's Creed Shadows. I do have it to where Tuesdays are going to be the Crew MotorFest. It's just so I'm not grinding myself down with games. I have a really hard time playing it from beginning to end. So hope you guys enjoy all the videos.
Do you have what it takes?
Playlist constraints removed. You can now experience it, driver.
So I have played quite a bit of this, so I have like random cars unlocked. My favorite one is this BMW i8. It's my dream car. Hopefully one day I can afford it, but let's see what kind of activities I've started. I'm gonna go ahead and knock out this summit. I actually like these challenges. The last one I played was actually pretty difficult, so we'll see how good this one is. Oh man, it's gonna be a restart. This is actually pretty difficult. Yeah, I went ahead and turned it right then. I knew that was pretty high. Man, I don't know if it was me or if it was the car, but that thing felt really slidey. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that one had me kind of sweaty.
for something fresh and new.
This game
The
actually does
3.0
very well
CSL was the
visually.
big surprise at the first event.
Like,
Did
it's
you
about-
enjoy driving
besides
it?
Forza, I
I'm
think
sure
it's
you
like the
did.
best looking racing game out there. With the textures and
Let's
of
go
course
to
the
Maui,
car
where
models.
the rest
I mean,
of the
it just
playlist will
amazes me
take
how
place.
they modeling up these cars look.
I see you met Anna. Nice lady, don't you think? She probably won't tell you this, but she really insisted on hosting this playlist. She even chose all the vehicles you're going to drive. I guess everyone has a favorite brand. In fact, MotorFest initially wanted her to host a more motorsport-oriented playlist, but she refused, arguing that BMW is actually all about motorsport and performance. That sounds promising.
With this being a racing game, I always forget that you have claims and tokens. And I love how quick it is just to change. I always forget.
have plenty of BMW vehicles to discover together. And I think Mark wants to share a few words about the next one.
The BMW 3 Series is the core product of the BMW AG. It's all we are talking about. And the BMW M3 E30 is the peak development of this whole series. If you talk about the sport evolution, it's a very special car. It was much more lighter than the normal BMW M3. It has more horsepower. And it was only available in 2 colors. So these are all aspects which make the car very special.
Now with the M3, we're touching on an important part of BMW's history, the 3 Series, the face of the brand. So as you may know, since the early 70s, BMW has been dividing its models into 8 different series. The 3 is without question the most popular of them all. The one you're driving is the E30. It's the second in this prestigious line, and an instant hit in 1982. Not just for car enthusiasts, no, but for the mass market as well. They sold over 2 million. That's huge, especially since they weren't cheap. But this car deserved it. She truly did. For sure, it was the most powerful sedan available at the time. So, when BMW Motorsport needed to put a new car on the track, it was obvious they would create one based on the E30 and make it even better. And that's how we got the first M3 ever. We spoke earlier of the success of the 3.0 CSL, but it was nothing compared to what this car achieved. She's simply the most successful touring car in motorsport history. She has more than 1,400 victories. Yeah, I promise you. She won everything. Rallying, endurance racing, but also BMW's most beloved tournaments. The DTM, the German Touring Car Championship. The funny story is that BMW had to build 5,000 free legal cars and sell them to the public just so they could compete. And they did it. But they were skeptical at first because they thought it would never sell. Of course, they were wrong. They've sold 3 times more than expected. Whatever the model, the E30 has left its mark on a generation. She's loved by underground communities for tuning, for drifting, but you can even see her on album covers and rap videos. She's a cultural phenomenon. It's wonderful to see this car taking over the roads of Maui.
No, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the car they used for the cover of Need for Speed Unbound. I believe so. If not, it was a different model. But who knows? I'm not even a car guy, so.
It's time to continue our journey into BMW's history. This time we're going for a BMW Z. Do you know what the Z stands for? It means Zukunft, future in German. I guess it's BMW's way of promising they'll always keep innovation and experimentation in sight. No special words from Mark, but don't worry, Anna has a lot to say about this car.
The Z4. For a few moments, let's put aside vehicles designed for extreme racing and enjoy just driving for the pleasure of driving. Well, I mean, you still have an aggressive opponent in this race, of course. Where's the fun without one? BMW Z models are what we call roadsters. Two-seaters made for relaxing behind the wheel, appreciating the scenery and the thrill of speed. And look at that. We just have the perfect spot and the perfect weather to enjoy this ride. The only thing you're missing is the wind in your hair. But you are driving a coupe cabriolet, so I guess you could theoretically enjoy the open air if you wanted to. Your car is the Z4 E89, a very cool model for two major reasons. Number one, it's the very first BMW to have been designed by two women, Juliana Blasi for the exterior and Nadia Arnault for the interior. They wanted to break the classic roadster image with a car inspired by the human body, athletic and beautiful, designed for all driving enthusiasts. And number two, the E89 has indeed been adapted into a real racing car, the famous, beautiful, and successful Z4 GT3. That's an obvious part of my passion for this car. I own the car you're driving. And did I forget to tell you that? I know what you're thinking. It's not as sporty as the others. And that's true. But on weekends, where I'm far away from the races, it's the perfect car for open roads.
Oh my gosh, we're at the finish line too. That's just terrible. Yeah, it sucks, but I'm gonna have to do a restart. What happens when I'm not paying attention?
And number 2, the E89 has indeed been adapted into a real racing car. The famous, beautiful, and successful D4 GT3. That's an obvious part of my passion for this car. I own the car you're driving. And did I forget to tell you that? I know what you're thinking. It's not as sporty as the others. And that's true. But on weekends, where I'm far away from the races, it's the perfect car for open roads. Her creators described her as an expression of freedom. Would you say
There
the
you go.
same?
That's how you're supposed to.
The next event is going to be really different from the previous ones. MotorFest really wanted to show how diverse and surprising BMW can be. I won't say more, except that you'll have to go to the top of the mountain to see the starting grid. And you'll see, the beginning of this race is going to be memorable.
Hey, that was another BMW i8. That's pretty cool. What the heck is going on here?
That's what I call a jump. I'm glad you survived that one. Hold on tight. The descent ahead is more dangerous than it looks. Awesome! It's for these unique moments that we all like to go off-roading from time to time. I gotta admit, it's not where I'm at my best, but I really wanted to get off the beaten track at least once during this playlist. BMW and off-roading have a strong history. They were famous in the Dakar Rally in the 80s, and they've been building bikes designed for the wilderness ever since. Your ride is one of them. It's an R1200 GS, And at BMW, every bike marked with the GS letters is a bike made for adventure. And adventures, they can happen anywhere, you know? On the edge of the unknown or just down the street from your house. So they need to be prepared for every occasion. They're built for both city riders and budding explorers. Well, to be fair, this one's being prepped by MotorFest, so it's a little more suited for the extreme conditions than the ones you could find in a regular shop. But you see what I mean. Another great race. You're not doing too bad.
Our next race will be once again focused on BMW M vehicles. Speaking of which, do you know where the famous M colours come from? That combination of blue, purple and red? In the 1970s, BMW Motorsport wanted the American oil company Texaco as one of their sponsors. So, to win them over, they incorporated Texaco's red to the design of their first cars. When the deal was rejected, they decided to improve their livery by adding an extra blue line, the official colour of Bavaria, home of BMW. Then, to complete it, they finally added a purple line in between. And just like that, the BMW M colours came to life. Of course, nowadays, BMW says that the red colour stands for motorsport, not for Texaco. But I'm sure you'll think of it the next time you see the M logo.
up against BMW's finest, a collection of some of the latest M models. See that white car? That's an M8, a 625 horsepower monster made for everyday use. And the dark gray one over there? An M5 CS. We'll talk about her later, but let's just say that this series has been producing missiles since the 70s and is not about to stop. The other ones are M2s and M4s. They come from series born in 2013 and 2014. Racing them is gonna be tough. The road is narrow, with a lot of sharp bends and not many places to accelerate. Overtaking here is a challenge. You have to use the occasional straights with guts and confidence. Clearly my kind of track. To give you a fair chance of winning, we put you behind the wheel of the fastest production car BMW has ever made, the M4 CSL. Yeah, you heard me, a CSL. BMW only made 3 of these in 50 years. The first one was the 3.0 you drove earlier, and this is the third. And to make it even more prestigious, you can even notice a special emblem on her body celebrating BMW M's 50th anniversary. So the real question is, does she live up to the CSL legacy? Well, she hits 200 kilometers per hour in only 10 seconds and holds the BMW record on the famous Nürburgring circuit. What more is there to say? You better win with a car like that. CSL, competition, sport, and lightweight. I hope you felt that DNA at every turn.
That actually felt like a pretty fast car. Oh, what would it be to own a BMW?
Wonderful race, driver. Now let's head to Maui's volcano for the next event. Driving the i8, the first plug-in hybrid sports car to go into series production. It's still still as impressive as it was 10 years ago. But I'll let you be the judge of that.
AKA my dream car.
Okay, be careful. This outrun requires your utmost concentration. One mistake or two, and you're sure to lose. Stay sharp. I won't distract you too much, but I still gotta talk about that spaceship you're driving. Yeah, I'm sorry to call it that, but I'm sure you were thinking the same thing. And hey, I don't mean it in a bad way. I love the way she looks. The BMW i8 is a car that stands out from the crowds. It's actually hard to believe she's indeed a production car and not just a concept. Like, it's crazy how futuristic she looks, even though she was revealed more than 10 years ago. The contrast of her colors highlights all her curves. And there's something about the way she's shaped that makes her intriguing and elegant at the same time. I'm glad the sun hasn't fully risen yet, because I find her even more beautiful at night. Those U-shaped taillights give her so much personality. You might be wondering what's the story behind that car. Well, it all goes back to the early 2010s when BMW I was created to develop a range of electric and hybrid vehicles within the brand. Only two models came out of it, the compact i3 and the i8, the sports car you're driving. There were never any others because they updated their strategy. Rather than creating a separate lineup, they now implement their technologies into their main series. A smart move, I guess. But I would have loved to see more cars like this one. Congrats! I knew the clock wouldn't outrun you.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened there. I think I just wasn't paying attention, just slid off the road.
be the bearer of bad news, but I'm afraid we're heading towards the last event of this playlist. Yes, I know. Already. But we're not going to say goodbye without one last hooray. At this final race, you'll be driving not one, but 3 of BMW's finest vehicles. And I hope you've got some time to spare, because this isn't going to be a short trip.
Multi vehicle.
BMW M is a sort of brand shaper for the whole BMW AG, because the image and the reputation BMW M has created is always related to sportiness and to peak performance. One of the hugest separations between maybe other manufacturers is the fact that a BMW is always sporty. The customer expects a sort of sportiness. He wants to drive it, he wants to feel the passion behind the wheel. And this is BMW.
Get ready. The weather is perfect for going on a long road trip. We're putting 3 BMW MCS to the test over very long distances, and it's your job to drive them one after the other. You remember what CS means? It's competition sport, the sportiest editions of BMW M. As you can see, we didn't even bother to close the roads, so you'll have to deal with the traffic. But you have no trouble dodging it, right? That wasn't an easy start, but you managed it like a pro. You've probably recognized the car you're driving. It's the M5 F90 CS, the one you went up against a bit earlier. The 5 Series is the oldest in the history of BMW. Not the oldest car, of course, but the first series they launched when they started this classification in the 70s. It's just crazy how much power there is in a car like that. She weighs almost 2 tons, and she's over 5 meters long. And in spite of that, she has 635 horsepower and can reach 100 kilometers per hour in only 3 seconds. For a sedan, wow. Like, imagine taking your kids to school with this. The temptation to step on the gas is way too strong. She might be too dangerous for your own good. However, her design is, well, let's just say it's not my favorite, but I see why people love it. It's just not sporty enough for my taste. But I must admit, I love the golden bronze color they added to the rims and front grille. That's her signature. It's so cool. And now we have an M3 G80 CS from 2023. We've come a long way since the E30. Don't you think it looks a lot like the M4 CSL? On the front end, mostly. Well, that's normal. Actually, the 3 and 4 series share the same engine and chassis base. Before 2014, the 3 Series models were released in a large number of variations. Like, too many variations. So, ultimately, they decided to make things clearer. On the one side, there's the 3 Series with sedans and state cars, and on the other, the 4 Series with coupes and cabriolets. And that's the main difference between the two. What do you think about her design? Personally, I love how aggressive she looks. The size of the double kidney grille divides BMW fans, but I think it gives her so much character. finally, the icing on the cake. The brand new M2 G87 CS from 2025. And you can try her here exclusively for the first time. BMW are so proud of her that they regard her as part of the BMW 2002 Turbo Heritage, and that's one of the most beloved cars of the 70s. So, does she deserve this honorific comparison? I'll let you drive her for a bit, before giving my opinion.
Good night, Bob. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.
Look how fast she can go. She's obviously the fastest M2 ever. But what I love most about her is her uncompromising design. People will be divided just like the M3 and M4, but I'm a fan. I mean, look at this. It's her production form, and it already looks like a professional tuner has fitted her with one of the coolest kits around. It's probably too soon to say, but I think she's my fave. Among the three of them, of course. I think it's simply more fun to drive. BMW M2 CS, a legend in the making.
Oh my goodness, that felt so long.
You've yet to claim your reward, driver. Congratulations, driver. You just completed the BMW playlist. It's time for you to get your reward. Let's get back to the container. If you care for the drive and are not in the mood for using fast travel, let me tell you a few things about that reward. It's a car you already know very well, the Batmobile. No, I don't mean the one from the movies. I'm talking about the 3.0 CSL. That was its nickname in the 70s. It was called that because of its aerodynamic spoiler. And a little fun fact. That spoiler was also featured in the street-legal version of the car. But to be allowed to sell it in Germany, BMW had to deliver it in the trunk. The customers had to mount it themselves. I can't wait to see you explore Hawaii in this historic car.
The fact that they had to do that back then was actually pretty cool. Man, this game totally makes me think of GTA 6 right now with the water, the palm trees, the sunset. Cannot wait for that game to come out. But in the meantime, I'm at least going to stream a little bit of what I like to play until then. Fable. Fable looks pretty good. I'm pretty excited for Fable. I've played all three. I would have to say the first one is definitely still my favorite. First one I played was the third one. Couldn't really get into it. Loved it though. The second one was pretty good, but then I played the first one and it's just like the best of all three. But I try not to talk much for you guys. I'm not really a talker. I will talk every once in a while. Kind of let you guys like to come and go and watch as you guys please. Not gonna bore you with my voice, so just for you guys' enjoyment. Alright guys, I'm gonna take a quick pause. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. I had to use the restroom and check on the wife and kids. So back to the grind. Oh man, that looks so good.
back to where we left off.
So fun fact, I'm actually a heavy Red Bull fan. See kind of what the upgrades can be. I'm gonna go see what kind of other activities we got going on.
New challenges unlocked.
Listen up, you buff forces. I've got 7 questions that you need to answer by getting behind.
Tell the tale of America the only way it can be told. Finish with a flourish and you might get to live out the American dream. It's a chance you wouldn't want to miss out on.
Alright, I'm calling it. Muscle cars are not my thing. Oh my gosh, that was just so bad. That's like the worst. Yeah, that's right. You stand there. You stand there and look terrible.
Attention, all festival goers! As you already know, MotorFest has expanded across the Hawaiian archipelago. We still have plenty of adventures to share with you, and will continue to do so for a long time. So, we clearly needed a new place. And what a wonderful place that is. Welcome to Maui. Welcome to your new playground.
Isn't the playlist I wanted, but I guess we're gonna stick to it.
Let's start with a tour of the island to map out the area. Here, mountains give birth to bamboo forests and beaches are as red as the fire of a raging volcano. This island is ready to reveal its beauty, and that's what this playlist is all about. We've also put together challenges and side activities to explore every nook and cranny of the island.
Guess we're going a little off-roading today. Oh, too much. I just read my wife's message. Thank you, babe. I love the designs on this Porsche. It's a very long race. It'll be about 10 minutes. A little too hard there. Not bad. Of course, I gotta put the last sharp turn on the end. Looks like somebody in the chat is having issues with an error. I'm new to that. I have no idea what that means, man. My apologies. Still very new at this, so
It's time to reap your reward.
if you guys have issues with the
Your
stream or
vehicle is
anything,
ready for you to claim.
just let me know. That was the world's longest race right there. All it was driving. You know, at the time, this seemed like a really good idea. But I have a feeling this is just gonna slow me down. Oh, losing control. Drive it through someone else's backyard.
Back to where we left off. Things are getting serious. You're now about to focus on the most luxurious of French luxury car brands. No need to think twice. You've already guessed it. Our next event, Bugatti, now and then.
Good old Bugatti. Good old Bugatti. Oh, they wasn't kidding about a Bugatti. It's an old thing.
At last, it was finally time for me to make a stop in Molsheim, home of the French luxury car brand par excellence, Bugatti. There is absolutely no way I could have skipped this more than 110-year-old institution. My enthusiasm was vindicated as I got to spend some time with the legendary machine that is the 1936 Type 57 SC Atlantic, designed by Jean Bugatti, one of the most beautiful Bugattis ever made. A car that embodies Bugatti's pioneering spirit and passion for perfection. What a pleasure it was to take this venerable machine through the picturesque countryside roads of France. Four units of this car were made at the time, including a single all-black version that John Bugatti kept for himself. Unfortunately, its whereabouts are a long-standing mystery, as that particular vehicle disappeared during World War II. Or did she? To be honest, this special moment with Bugatti was one of the highlights of my European tour, especially when you know which car they're going to bring next.
There we go, something familiar.
La Voiture Noire, a direct tribute to that all-black Type 57 SC I just mentioned. One of the most beautiful and most expensive cars in the world. Exclusivity, artistry, performance, and luxury. A car that is undoubtedly a worthy successor to Jean Bugatti's personal masterpiece. I'm pretty sure the man would have loved to see this. Anyway, for me, this was the perfect end to a perfect day.
Very mean looking car. I'm giving me like a hornet or a wasp type feel.
To you festival goers, I hope you'll enjoy driving these as much as I did admiring them in their native land.
The Luxury Chronicles continue. We're staying with Bugatti for one last French spin with a luxurious yet very intimidating car.
Bugatti Vision GT.
Day 4 of my glorious French sojourn. I was staying at Bugatti's for another day, and as the icing on the cake, Bugatti served me one last exclusive piece of art on a plate. The Bugatti Vision GT. Another car originally designed for the video game industry that made it to the real world, for my pleasure and yours. If you're currently driving this car, and I believe you are, be cautious. This car may be a jewel. Once awakened, she becomes a beast. With that, my time with Bugatti and the French section of my tour were coming to an end. My next destination, Germany.
Ooh, that had me a little sweaty. The place too bad. Bugatti's nice, but I'll tell you what. BMW i8 just always hits
This
different.
was a dive into French car haute couture. You're now entering the second part of this luxury vehicle experience, still narrated by our archivist. So next stop, Germany. A very special German car has been prepared for you.
After a marvelous French introduction, I was now flying to Germany to pursue my work on the European luxury brands. I was expecting great things from the upcoming meetings. This leg of the journey was a promising one, as I was about to meet my esteemed counterpart at Porsche.
My name is Frank Jung, and I'm responsible here at the Porsche AG for the corporate archive and the car collection. The archive is kind of the memory of the brand, the memory of Porsche. In between the 80 cars we're showing here, the Carrera GT is one of the top stars. Top sports car of its time, a high-performance machine. And it's mainly made by hand.
My luxury chronicles were really shaping up, with one incredible encounter after another. And now, I was about to see Porsche as never before, with a special focus on the Porsche Carrera GT.
One of the most iconic.
Talking about German luxury cars without talking about Porsche would be nonsense. It is one of the names that belongs in the pantheon of luxury car culture. Guided by my fellow archivist from Stuttgart, I was being honored with an insider tour of their museum, from which I was getting priceless notes and pictures for my archives and for MotorFest. Among all the jewels that surrounded us, the Carrera GT took a special place in our day. A car born from a streak of Porsche victories, made to compete with the greatest. Top sports car in the 2000s, and dare I say, one of the top sports cars of all time. What a day, and what a car. I couldn't have dreamed of a better way to start my trip in Germany.
Always at your disposal.
Alrighty guys, I'm gonna call that a night. Appreciate the ones who stayed tuned and watched me stream for a little bit. This is kind of just a random playthrough of MotorFest, so just like what I said, Tuesdays are gonna be my MotorFest days. Wednesdays are gonna be my off days. I'm not gonna stream. If I do anything tomorrow, it's gonna be more video work. But I will be most likely streaming Thursday and Friday. So, appreciate you guys staying tuned. Catch you guys later.